And a very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Issues and Attitudes. My name is Jeff Owens, director of WEIU Radio. And today is one of those shows I look forward to. Instead of talking to politics or talking about budgets at Eastern, we get to talk football today. So we have head coach Kim Dameron from EIU, his assistant coach, our defensive coordinator, Greg Stevens, or offensive coordinator, Greg Stevens, and defensive coordinator, Gary Fowler here. So thanks, guys, for coming in, everybody.
Thank you.
Good to be here.
Good to be here. Middle of the week, we'll give you a half-hour break. Where are we at right now in the process of preseason?
That's just it. We're in the process right now. We had a good first week, and things are coming together. We're still doing installs on both sides of the ball. We're starting to get a lot of good looks at some of the new players, young players. But towards the end of this week and after Saturday, we'll start putting this thing together pretty quick. And so it's an important week for some of the guys who are new that haven't been here, and but it's an important week for everybody. It's an important week for the veteran players to make sure that they're getting the reps they need to get ready to play.
As you think about going, right now where you're at, when do you start setting expectations for some of your leaders on each of the teams, and anybody can fill in here?
Well, really, we started that as soon as the season was over last year. With this senior class has really done a great job of stepping into that role. And even some of our other younger players, juniors and sophomores, that have played quite a bit. And the leadership of our football team right now is probably as good as it's been since I've been here. And so that makes me excited about the possibilities for the season.
Yes.
Well, I think offensively, I'll speak more offensively, but we got some seniors that have been here and started for a long time. We got two offensive linemen that have started for 3 years for us. Mitch Kimball's got a lot of experience and stuff. So we have some guys on offense that, like Coach said, have been here a long time, and they're doing a great job with their leadership and their work ethic. Not so much, they're not big rah-rah guys, but they're hard workers and more by example.
On the defensive side, Coach?
With the very first night that I had them when they got back from the summer we had them in camp, we talked about what a leader is and what a leader's not, and use some of the military things that I've learned in my lifetime, and I think sometimes that helps, because people, the kids, they think that leaders sometimes are just vocal, and I just went through what is not and what is, and I think that was helpful.
Could you give us a couple of examples, if you don't mind?
But the big thing is we had the school that I was at previously. We went and did our training camp at the military base, and we got to work with the soldiers, and they taught us. The big thing that is it's set the good example, and don't ever judge or degrade your brother. That's the key. Sometimes as coaches, if we do it, we're the bad guy. But when they take those things over, they become that encourager, and their fellow teammates will respond to those things. And those are the big thing is, don't judge your brother, don't talk down to your brother. Encourage, because nobody's trying to make a mistake. And if they're not making the effort that we need, then we need to encourage them and show them by my example what we've expected, what Coach Dameron expects of us, and what we should expect of them.
That's a great quote. I like that one. I'm going to use that tonight if you don't mind.
All right.
Coach Dameron, when you see these guys and when you set up your practices and your game plan for the week, I mean, how much empowering do you give to them? Do you like to sit back and watch, or are you right in there with them on offense and defense?
No, I do everything. It's not, they don't do it. No, I'm kidding. No, they, especially, I'm a defensive guy. And, Coach Fowler played for me at Murray State.
Oh, good. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
And my role, to be honest with you, has changed over the last few years, because when I first got here, I just concentrated on trying to be a head coach and not be as involved defensively. But now I'm quite a bit more involved defensively, as well as, with Cary. And so we kind of go hand in glove. And we've known each other. I've known him since he was 19 years old. And so there's a lot of things that I don't even have to say, and he already knows. So the same goals and the same kinds of things that we want to do defensively, it's just already there. As far as the offense is concerned, I have very little to do with our offense, because Greg, I trust him explicitly with not only our offense but the play calling and the coach of the quarterbacks and everything else. It's not something that I've done a lot of, and so I'm not going to start jumping in and trying to tell somebody how to do something that's been doing it for a long time. Greg and I were together the first time at Stephen F. Austin in 2001, so we've known each other a long time, and I know what he's about. I know it's exactly what I want we're a spread-based, balanced, one quarterback-driven offense, but we run the football very effectively, and we can throw it. We can, we can go fast, we can go slow, we can get big, we can get small. So we're not a one-trick pony offensively, and that's what I really like.
That's good. Now, Coach, I'm going to go to Coach Stevens on offense. Obviously, Eastern University kind of the quarterback. Everybody wants to know who the quarterback is because with some of the names that are on the wall over there. So talk about, is Mitch established himself as number one yet, or is he gearing that way? I know you don't like to give up a lot of stuff, but.
Yeah, I think he's established himself as our number one guy. And then, we got a real good battle going on for our number two guy. Last year, we had, things were going good, and then when Mitch got hurt, we kind of struggled a little bit. And so we got to do a better job when that second guy comes in. And there's a good battle right now with Bud Martin and Scotty Gilkey Jr., battling for that second spot. And they both have been getting better throughout camp, and I really like where they're at.
Okay. Now, Coach, on the defense side, one of the things that's in the news all the time right now is how much people are allowed to hit at practice. So I'll ask you first before Coach Dameron here. I mean, are you a big proponent, or are you agreeing that kids and athletes should not hit as much during the week?
Well, really, I'm for it. A lot of the things that we see today with the concussion awareness and different things, it directly hit me, and it was really the start of it. In 2010, I was the head coach at Tarleton State. My fourth day on the job, I had a young man, Zach Shaver, pass away with a concussion. So at that point in my career, we had to do something to start with the awareness. And so happened there was another kid that had passed away. I think he was at UConn. And so now all of those things were things that we pushed as mom and dad, and we pushed in those foundations that we have the awareness and the protocol. So I'm with it because I dealt with that firsthand, live and in color.
I apologize.
I want anytime that I got the floor to bring that up because, that kid's legacy has changed. There was not a protocol in anything that we had in any athletics about concussions and how we deal with concussions and where we're at today with some of the things that were pushed. So, I'm always, I never want that kid's legacy to die because that single event has changed all of football, all of athletics in general, and dealing with concussions. So that's very special and dear to my heart, and I'm so excited to see where it's going because I've seen the effects of it.
Coach Dameron?
Yeah, anything has to do with player safety, I am all for and always have been. A lot of the way that we practice now, we started about probably 5 to 6 years ago of doing not ever having 2 padded practices in a day. If we went pads in the morning, we'd go shells in the afternoon, and it'd be an abbreviated practice. And so, the thing I really like the direction that we're going as a sport, in that we're taking much better care of these kids. Then obviously, 30 years ago when I was playing, we had 3 days, we had long camps, and
water was a
salt tablets, but now it's just being smart. It's taking care of the kids, and it's exactly the way, if I had a son right now playing college football, it's the way I would want him treated. And that's the way we always look at these kids, and this is the promise that I make to their families, is that I'm going to treat him like he's my own, on and off the field. And so we would never do anything as a program or anything like that to even think about putting a kid at risk or in jeopardy. So I love the protocol the way it is now.
Oh, good answer, guys. All right. When you think about Indiana State coming up August 31st, and it's amazing, it's only 24 days away. As we were talking this morning around the station, it's amazing it's already here. How much do you start working? When do you start worrying about Indiana State, or already have?
Well, obviously we started worrying about them as soon as we put them on the schedule. But no, we basically will practice against ourselves pretty much this whole week. We might start looking forward just a little bit, some next week. But then once we kind of get to where, we're getting close to school starting and all that kind of stuff, we'll slowly go into that. One of the things that makes it a little tough, they have a new staff. We obviously know something about their players, and we know about the history of some of the guys that are on their staff, but we don't really have any film of this staff and these players together, and so it makes it hard. We have to project quite a bit, and so one of the best things that I find that we can do is to just continue to practice against good speed and good players, and the formations and the packages and all that kind of stuff will kind of take care of themselves. And the fact that if we continue to go against ourselves, we're going to get better on both sides of the ball.
Coach, like to add anything about what Coach just said?
Like Coach Dameron said, you know, it's going to be tough getting prepared for Indiana State just because we really don't know what they're going to do. You know, like we know what they've done in the past, some of the coaches, but it's a new staff, and right now we're just worried about us and getting better, our guys knowing what their assignments and all that. And if they know that, we'll be fine with whatever they throw at us.
Make them stop us and
Yeah.
some of us worry about them, right?
Correct.
Coach, you got anything there?
You know, it's just our kids. I think some of the things that we do defensively now that we're able to make adjustments and quickly. And in our system, I ran Coach's system since I as a player, and I've stayed with it. Now we've changed a lot, and I've learned a lot coming back with him. And but it's just fun to see these kids adjust. I feel excited our kids can get lined up to anything and be able to play fast, and that's the most important thing. Whatever, we got to be able to see everything and be able to get lined up and adjust quickly, and our kids have handled that well so far.
My next question is the one I know Coach Dameron doesn't like to ask, but as a fan, if talking from a fan's point of view, and I know football is the ultimate team sport, but who are some of the players that Eastern fans can think, hey, I want to watch number 82 on offense or number 32 on defense or the kicker running, whatever. Can you list a couple of that you think should be standouts on the field this year?
Well, obviously our quarterback. I'm excited about our quarterback. I think Mitch is going to, if he continues to do the things that he's done, he should have a good year, a heck of a year. We've got a group of running backs that I don't know which one will be out there. So whichever one's getting the ball, that's the one to watch. But the thing that excites me is that we have a veteran offensive line, and we have some young guys up there, or some older guys up there that have played a lot of football. And so, Grant Branch and Austin Askin and Louis Velopa, our center, and then on the right side, Aaron Callaway and Josh Doyle, and then we've got some good young ones coming up that are behind them that hadn't played quite as much, but are pretty talented kids. And so we're excited about not only that group, but the starters, but also the group behind them. I think we signed a JUCO receiver. We call him Allie B. Alexander Hollins. He can run and catch.
That's good.
And we've got an all-conference tight end in Addison Bounds, but we've got 2 or 3 other tight ends that we will put on the field all together or separately or whatever. In Ryan Ramirez and James Sheehan that we really feel good about. So offensively, I feel good about some of the guys who have the ability to be explosive. Dennis Turner is a returning starter for us as a wide receiver. Aaron Gooch. I hate to mention just some because you're going to leave one out. But and then defensively, the back end, Brad Dewberry is he's our leader in the back end.
Is he a senior?
He's a senior.
Yeah, it seems like he's been here forever.
Yeah, and he's played a lot of football here. Deshaun Smith plays corner for us. He's a junior. He's played a lot. Nick Horn and Vince Speller are both linebackers that have played a lot of football here. And then, up front, of course, David Johnson's back as a second-team all-conference defensive end. But I'm excited about Josh Price. I'm excited about Mac Weaver. I'm excited about some of our new our kids inside. So, we just we've got some kids that have played, but we got a guy like Mark Williams. This will be, he's a redshirt freshman, but right now he's our starting field corner. And so it'll be his first action. So we've got a really good mix of older guys and younger guys who we hope will mesh and come together. It'll be interesting to see how the young guys do.
Now, I know you got these guys, your 2 coordinators in the building today, but talk about some of your other coaches and maybe the new additions and what we can expect on the sidelines of the Panthers.
Defensively, we have Alba Hansbrough is our corners coach. He also does most of our special teams. And then our D-line coach is Quan Drake. Quan came here. Alba came here from Maine, and Quan came here from Memphis by way of Tulane, by way of, a couple other places. But those have been, really good additions. We've moved one of our young coaches, Greg Carroll, from the back end to help. He's now helping up front. And also Keith Scott, who last year coached linebackers, is now coaching safeties.
Okay.
So that's a little bit different on now offensively. Keith Upressa, very experienced offensive line coach, and we moved Micah Smith from tight ends to receivers. We hired Ethan Hudson. Mark, those of you who know Ethan's it's Mark's son. Ethan went to high school for a while at Charleston High School, so he's a hometown boy. But he's coaching our tight ends now, and then of course Tyler Stevens, Greg's son, coaches our running backs. So it's a good group.
And we've added Kim Dameron to the defensive side full time too. He didn't mention that. That's a heck of a hire.
So your son's working for you?
Yep.
How's that?
Good. It's been really a blessing. Tyler, our first 2 years here with Coach Dameron, he was a student assistant for us, and then he got a job at Snow Junior College, and then we hired him back last year to coach the running backs.
Now I'm going to ask, how was it? What's the difference? Now you're the defensive coordinator under Coach Dameron, but you played for him. Talk about, the transition there and things that you remember then, how he was and how he is now. We'll put him on the spot a little bit.
And not a lot has changed because over the years I've stayed really close with Coach. It's that coach-player relationship. Those things don't die.
Yeah.
And I not only got a chance to play for him, but the day that I finished playing, I got a chance to coach with him. And then I really learned a lot of football. That was, when we had a successful year in '95 there when we went 11-0 in the regular season. But I had an opportunity to live with him and just see him game plan at night. And, I was basically, you couldn't get me out of your hair for, about 4. So, but anytime that I've what he has taught me in football, and I've been able to stay basically in his system my entire life. I've never been outside a system that wasn't similar to what he ran, and evolve. And so if I ever needed anything or had a question, I call him. Hey, they're doing this, this, and this. What would you do? And so that relationship is it's exciting to be here. When we walked on the field in the spring, it was the first time we've been on the field together in 20 years, and I'm excited. And I told him it was a real moment the other night. My family got here. I've been here since March, and we finally got them moved in from Texas. And when you can introduce your children to your coach, that's a real moment, and that was special to me, because a lot of times our kids, they get married and they go away, and you don't get you see them periodically, and then you'll see them and their kids are. But when you have an opportunity to introduce your kids to your coach, that's a real moment. So exciting to be back with a guy that's been like a father, and he's been on my butt quite a bit too.
A couple times here, there. There you go. Let's after Indiana State, the 2 non-conference games to start off are Northern Illinois University, easy one there, and then Illinois State, the rival game. Talk about those 2 opponents.
Well, obviously both of them are going to be quality opponents. Anytime you step into the MAC, you step up to an FBS school, and we were able to go over to Miami, Ohio last year and come out successfully there. And so, we're just going to make sure that we put our best foot forward. We're going to, but to be perfectly honest with you, I hadn't really even thought about them. We're thinking about Indiana State, and that's about it. We've got them on our schedule. That's our next game. That's our game.
Game on the radar.
And we'll start thinking about those people. After Indiana State.
That's what I was going to ask. Is that how you parcel it out?
Yeah, I mean, you have to. We got to be singly focused on winning this opening game against Indiana State on the road against a new staff, and so it's something that we have to. Make sure that we're not thinking about anything else. Then we'll go to Northern Illinois. And then, the rivalry game with Illinois State's always a great game. I've been in it several times years ago, and then now, since I've been here, and we were able to get up and get a win at their place. I'm sure they're really going to be itching to to get us back. But hey, that's the great thing about rivalries, and Coach Pack and his staff do a fantastic job up there. So, we're excited about this first opener, really, and then we'll just kind of go from there.
Now, Greg, I know you guys kind of talked a little bit about your offensive style already, but when you think about your offensive style, I mean, Coach said you can go big, you can go little, you can go fast, you can go slow. Is there one that you like more, or do you like to really divvy it up like that?
Well, what we try to do is we try to do what fits our personnel best. And so we, here from start of camp until our first game, we're going to figure out who our best guys are and who gives us the best chance to win, and kind of adapt what we do to those players. I don't want to try to stick, a round peg in a square hole type deal. And so we're going to, Coach mentioned that Mitch Kimball, he's one of our best players, so we're going to use him, and he's going to be a big part of our offense. And we got some, but the good thing is we got some real good running backs and some real good receivers too, so we're going to be balanced and be able to do a little bit of everything, which I think gives defenses a little more problem than if you're just one-dimensional.
Defense, same question. I mean,
yeah, the big thing is we won't have to face his offense. That's the thing. I mean, personnel groupings and running. Coach does a great job. It really has helped us with what we're able to do defensively. I like our ability to get into multiple sets. Defensively. No matter how many DBs we put on the field, how many linebackers. I think we have depth that we can do those things, and the things that Coach does in practice allows us to, give him different looks that there's not much that you're going to see against the opponent that Greg doesn't show you, or that what we don't show in defense. I think, and that's what Coach said, we'll just go good on good. As long as we can do that, and I think it's, being multiple defensively and offensively really helps our kids in the preparation for game one.
There you go. Good quit. You got my juices flowing now. The tickets are on sale over there, by the way, for all home games. Now, Coach, I know you don't want to talk a little bit. I know I shouldn't put words in your mouth. You've already said you're kind of focused on Indiana State, but talk about the OVC in general, what folks and some of the listeners can expect this year out there in the OVC.
Well, normally, since I've been here, we've started off with Austin Peay, but now they're at the very back of the schedule. So we've kind of moved everybody up one. But, obviously, until somebody beats Jacksonville State, we're all chasing Jacksonville State. We always, and it has been that way for the 3 years that I've been here. And so that's the number one thing. Number two is, guys, Martin, Tennessee State were picked ahead of us. That doesn't sit really well for any of us.
I like that.
And so, we just, again, I'm going to be really cliche, but when our first conference game is going to be Southeast Missouri. I've got a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth for what happened to us a year ago down there. And so it's an extremely important game. But every game in the conference is important. And we proved last year that if we turn the football over, we don't bring our A game defensively, that anybody in this league can beat you. And so you got to show up every week ready to play, and it doesn't matter who it is. But as far as the conference race is concerned, our thing is, I just want to be right there at the end because I know Jacksonville State will be. I know Martin will be. I know, and then there'll be one team probably that rises up, Tennessee State. Tennessee State's probably the most talented team in the league. So it's a very balanced league. And it's one that, again, it's fun to play in each week because there's always new challenges.
That's a good answer there. I like that. Any new rules this year in the NCAA that we can look for? I know the OVC's adopted replay, but
yeah, we got replay. I'm excited about replay. I just want them to get it right.
Hey.
And I'm not a big, yeller and screamer. At least not at officials. I try to get more.
Coach, right?
Yeah. I try to get a little bit more, honey, flies with sugar than I do vinegar, but. Every now and then, you have to let them know how you feel if you think they missed one. But as far as the new rules are concerned, yeah, the replay is the biggest. And then I'm trying to think. There's really not
no major ones. Last year when we had you on, there was a lot more. It seemed like there's 2 or 3 different rules.
It was more about how you practice and what your calendar looks like and all that kind of stuff. They gave us, no two-a-days, so they gave us an extra week for camp and that type stuff. But as far as the game is concerned, there's really not a ton of that other than now we have instant replay.
Okay. Your guys' thoughts on instant replay? Anything to add? Or?
No, I just think it's a good thing, like Coach said, getting the calls right. And, the Ohio Valley, we've been a little behind in, all the other conferences, or a lot of them in FCS have had it. And then we go to if we get to the playoffs or whatever, they have it. But I think it's just good getting the calls right.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing, and I've been there. We've all been there on that end of it, where the call was missed, and the outcome. But I just preach to kids this: no matter what the outcome is, just play the next play. Play the next play, let it go, and we control our own destiny if we make plays.
There you go. I'll open this up to any of you guys. Is there? I mean, on the other, I mostly want to talk EIU football. I also like to get some of the stuff that's out there in the national spotlight about when kids should start playing tackle football. It's been a big issue. I mean, I know like in Ohio they start at first grade keeping stats. We're here in Central Illinois. We start our kids in fifth grade. In Rochester they start in first grade. So talk about that if you don't mind, or your opinion. You can have any opinion on this.
As far as the age is concerned, I think kids are so much different that some kids at age whatever, I started at 8, and I was ready, but maybe there might have been some other 8-year-olds that weren't. I don't know what that age would be. The thing that I want to make sure is that the game is taught in a very safe manner and practiced in a safe manner. Some of the horror stories that you see and you hear of, getting kids out and you're doing, bull in the ring and you're doing, I mean, that's not something that really probably needs to be in the game at that. I mean, it's not in our game.
Yeah.
We don't do that. And so as long as the kids are taught to play the game in a safe manner, as far as what age, I don't know. When they're physically ready.
Okay. You guys want to add anything?
I tell you what I've seen is I was very fortunate to be in Stephenville, Texas, at Tarleton State, and there have been a lot of great high school coaches that have come there. They're very successful. And I think they've won like 8 state championships. They don't do any Little League football until they get into the 7th grade. They do flag football. Every kid's eligible, and they have a state championship for flag football. There's a lot of those smaller, those one-horse towns in Texas that do that. So, and the ones that do it are very successful because they don't have, when they get them, they're a piece of clay. They can teach them, and you got coaches, certified coaches, and the high school coaches even work with them at that level too, even in 7th grade. And, they're just doing flag football. And you don't know how kids are going to develop, and I've seen the success. When you talk about 8 state championships over like a 25-year span, it kind of speaks for itself too.
Unfortunately, we're out of time. I could talk football the rest of the afternoon. This has been fun. It's not anything politics. So I appreciate all 3 of you coming in. Best of luck this year. EIU football tickets are on sale. You can call over to the Panther office and get tickets, and we're all ready for August 31st right here. HitMix Radio will have every game as usual, Coach.
All right.
Thanks for having us.
You.
That's the shameless plug. Thank you all. Great to meet you too. And EIU football starts in just about 24 days right here on HitMix 88.9 WEIU. Everyone, have a great day.
I'll follow you into the night, or you can come to me at the beginning of a total eclipse of the heart. This is HitMix 88.9 WEIU.